So let's begin the session with the invocation mantra, and we are going to learn the next few verses from 31 to 45. So first we'll begin with the Shanti mantra. Close your eyes, adopt chin mudra, join your index finger and thumb together. Keep your back straight. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Gently brush your palms on each other. Place them on your eyes. Give gentle massage all over your face. And with few blinks, slowly open your eyes. So let's do the invocation for Maharishi Patanjali. Yogena chittasya padena vacham. You can repeat. Yogena chittasya padena vacham. Malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena. Malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena. Yopakarottam pravaram muninam. Yopakarottam pravaram muninam. Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. Patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi. So with this beautiful invocation to Maharishi Patanjali, we are continuing our journey in the first chapter of Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and that is the Samadhi Pada. So far, we have seen up to verse 30. In the last verse, he talked about all the reasons with which the mind gets distracted, like Vyadhi, Sthana, Samshaya, Alasya, Pramada, Avirati, Bhranti Darshana, Alabdha Bhumikatva, Anavasthitattvani, Chitta Vikshepaha. What are those physical and mental disturbances which keeps our mind constantly in a distracted state? And he further continues in the next sutra, that is the verse 31. There are other accompaniments, sahabhuvaha. What are those accompaniments? Dukkha daurmanasya angamejayatva shwasa prashwasa vikshepa sahabhuvavaha. Okay, so it is dukkha is the distress. We say suffering. So suffering can be of anything, physical suffering, mental suffering, emotional, spiritual, it can be any sort of suffering. Darumanasya is one step ahead of that suffering, is Darumanasya. That is the despair. Angam, the body, ajayatva, that is the trembling of the body, the muscles. You know, when we get angry, we should always observe, you know, what is going on in our body. We become red, maybe some parts of our body shiver or tremble. our breathing pattern completely changes. It becomes shallow, haphazard, fast. And then, like Shwasa Prashwasa, the disturbed inhalation, disturbed exhalation, and these are the Vikshepas, the distractions, the confusions. Saha Bhuvaha, that is the accompanying, or they exist. So if you are going through Vyadhi, the disease, definitely there is change in your breathing. Definitely you are suffering. So any of the previous mentioned things are accompanied with these. So let's chant this sutra. Dukkha dharmanasyangamé jayatva. Dukkha dharmanasyangamé jayatva. Shvasa prashvasa. Shvasa prashvasa. Vikshepasah bhuvaha. Vikshepasah bhuvaha. Dukkha dharmanastyangame jayatva. Shvasa prashvasa. Vikshepasah bhuvaha. Dukkha dharmanasyangame jayatva. Shvasa prashvasa. Vikshepasah bhuvaha. So, these two verses are very important, 1.30 and 1.31, which are all the list of things. Ambika, mute your call, please. All right. So that we have seen, right? Let's move on to the next verse. So these are, it occurs in one whose mind is distracted. It does not occur to those whose minds are concentrated. Repetition of Om and self-surrender to Ishvara will strengthen the mind. So let's keep on practicing. So we have to always remember, if our mind is distracted, we are going to face one of these. So what is the answer? That somewhere we need kind of a prop or an anchor where we can constantly fix our mind on it to avoid that constant getting distractions. You know why these distractions happen? Because our mind can focus only on one thought or one object on a given time. In that moment, it can't think about two things simultaneously. That is the limitation of mind, that mind at a given moment can only focus on one object or one thing or one thought. So if second thought is entering, mind has to leave the previous object, previous thought, and it has to shift on the next thought. If again third thought is entering, again mind has to leave that thought and jump onto the third one. And that keeps happening throughout our lives, day in, day out. The mind, goes like this. And these are the distractions. That's why we feel mind is distracted. And it is not concentrated. It is not focused. Because that is the nature of the mind. And that's why the importance of practice. Okay? So in the next sutra, Patanjali says, so what is the solution? We have to do something about it. Tat pratishedarthamekatva abhyasaha. So tat pratishedartha. Tat, there, those all distractions can be avoided, can be overcome. How? Or pratishedhartha, to those distractions, Eka Tattva Abhyasa. Eka, the single one. Tattva is the subject or the principle or the reality. Abhyasa is the practice. The practice of concentration on a single subject. Even, our mind is so chanchala, fluctuating. Even we keep changing the object of meditation. Even it is very hard to keep the object of meditation fixed, permanent throughout our sadhana because mind gets distracted. Someday I feel that, okay, now I should meditate on Om. Then next day I something, listen the story of Lord Krishna. And then I feel, okay, now I should focus or meditate on the image of Lord Krishna or his mantra, whatever it is. The use of one object of meditation is the best way to prevent the obstacles, what we have seen in Sutra 30, and the accompaniments in Sutra 31st. So that's how, when Dronacharya asked that what you can see as you are targeting. So only Arjuna could answer, it is only the eye of the bird. But others, they said that I can see the trees, the branches, the leaves, the sky, the clouds, and whatnot. So that focus, that target, that technique should be selected wisely and should be kept constant throughout the practice. So let's repeat this sutra. Tat pratishedhartha. Tat pratishedhartha. Ekatatvabhyasaha. Ekatatvabhyasaha. So whenever our mind is getting distracted, we should repeat this sutra in our head, in our mind. Tat pratishedharthamekatatvabhyasaha. Tat pratishedharthamekatatvabhyasaha. Okay, let's move on. Just written few thoughts about it. What I have explained initially, the mind is the current of thoughts. It generates thought after thought. The perceptions are the source of thought generation because of we have got senses, eyes, ears. The organ of senses perceive things, keep on perceiving things. The mind is attached to the sense organs. The mind is incapable of perceiving two objects at a time. If a new stuff is coming to the mind based on the current sensory perception, the mind has to leave behind the existing stuff and will engage itself with the newer one. Because of its incapacity to more than one thought, it has to leave the previous one. This is what distraction is. To address distractions, the mind should be engaged on a single object. The meditation, japa, prayer, and the like are the means to be employed in achieving this goal. So instantly he gives the answer as well. What is need to be done? So you can select one mantra and do japa of that mantra or meditate on the object of meditation, whatever suits you. So once we move ahead, now he is giving solutions at different levels. I think this is the best part of the entire Yoga Sutras. From Sutra 1.39 to almost 1.33 to 39, Now he is giving us the options. Okay, you can try this. If this is not suiting you, that's all right. Then try something else till you find the perfect technique and object according to your personality, according to your nature, what is suitable for you. Take some time for that selection process. And from this sutra, he is giving us the methods, the techniques, the solutions for concentrating our mind. 1.33 is talking about the emotional culture, emotional culturing of the mind. Because of the various things happening as we interact with the society, community around, if some person says something, our mind gets distracted. So, what kinds of mental attitude which we should develop? And I think in today's world, this is the most important thing everyone should be aware of. What are those? Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, Upekshanam, Sukha, Dukha, Punya, Apunya, Vishayanam, Bhavana, Chitta, Prasadanam. Let's see one by one. Maitri, friendliness. Karuna, compassion. Mudita, delight. And Upeksha, disregard or indifference. Towards whom? So these are the four mental attitudes. Maitri is the friendliness. Towards whom? To those people who are happy. Sukha. Those friends who are successful in their life, they are happy. You can always feel, oh my God, how happy they are always. What kind of thoughts come in, enter in our mind? Envy, unhappiness. If it is happening, then your mind will be further distracted. It can take you to vyadhi, sthana, samshaya, alasya, anything. Dukkha, dharmanasya, angame, jayatva, shwasa, prashwasa, anything. So we should always have the friendly attitude towards those people who are happy. Karuna, compassion. We should always have compassion towards those who are suffering. We should not feel happy by seeing other people suffering, our own friend or family suffering. No, never. Mudita, delight. Towards whom? Who are blessed. Punya. Who have achieved, so many things in their lives. Delight. And then upeksha, indifference towards those who are apunya. Wicked. These people who are really wicked. So we should be, indifferent, neutral towards them. Vishaya, in the domain. The four of the four with respect to the previous four. So bhavana, cultivating these attitudes. Chitta, the mind, prasadanam, undisturbed calmness. So if you want to keep the inner peace, manashanti in your lives, then what is the solution? That these mental attitudes should be developed gradually. By cultivating attitudes of friendliness towards happy, compassion for the unhappy, delight in the virtuous, and disregard towards the wicked, the mind stuff, the chitta, retains its undisturbed calmness. So, I have explained in this way that there are four locks and the four keys. If you are stuck in that mental lock, then what is the key? If you're feeling unhappy by seeing the success of others, what is the key? Where we are trapped, we are locked. The key is friendliness. Unhappy, compassion. Virtuous, gladness. Wicked, indifference. So, towards those who are happy or joyful, we might have that resistance or that we are locked in. Remember how it is that sometimes when you're not having such a good day, means we ourselves, having some stress or difficulty in our lives, you might resist being around other people who are feeling happy or joyful. It is very easy to unintentionally have a negative attitude towards them at such a time, even if they are your friends or family members. This is not to say that your mind is being 100% negative, but some kind of thoughts will enter in. But it is the tendency, however small, that we want to be mindful of. So, what is important here? So, if I am feeling envious or negative at that time, I need to be aware of. Many a times, problems occur because of unawareness. We are not even aware of our own problems, our own mental attitudes, isn't it? Do you all agree with this? So, what is the key here? What Patanjali is telling us to do? The key is friendliness and kindness. You can consciously cultivate an attitude of friendliness and kindness when you're around these happy people or when you think about them. This conscious act of being mindful of the negative tendency of the mind and actively promoting the positive and useful has a stabilizing effect and brings inner peace and calm. So, what we have done is the conscious act of replacing that envious thought or negative thought by telling our mind, no, I have to have that friendly attitude or kind attitude or happy attitude towards them. This is the conscious act I am doing at that moment. It is being mindful that the mind often holds both sides of the attraction and aversion, positive and negative. Here we want to be aware of both, but cultivate the positive and useful. All right. The next one, towards those who are in pain or suffering. So, what is the lock here? The frustration, indifference, which is the opposite of compassion. When we see people are really having problems, challenges in their lives, many a times we remain indifferent. You know what we have to do with it? Just ignore it. But instead, that time we should have compassion. But exactly opposite we have in that moment is one of the most injurious of the subhuman tendencies. It dulls the mind to the point where we become insensitive even to our own thoughts and feelings. This insensitivity shrivels the heart and narrows the mind. We no longer see the difference between a material object and a living being. We treat ourselves and others mindlessly, filling our inner world with pain and sorrow and inflicting our inner pain on those around us. So here we are trapped or locked in that attitude. But here Patanjali is saying, no, it is the time to become aware of and replace that thought with something else. And what need to be done? The compassion or the support. It is the good, it is good to observe that inclination of the mind, however small. It just means to be mindful of it while at the same time consciously cultivating compassion and support for others who are suffering. At that time, we can't be indifferent. We can't enjoy their suffering, or we can't be just, we are also getting frustrated or suffering by seeing their suffering. That should also not happen, isn't it? So it does not mean suppressing the contrary thoughts and emotions. Again, we want to be mindful of the habits of mind. Unawareness leaves disturbances in the unconscious that will disturb meditation. So, always we have to remember from what context Patanjali is telling us. Only for the betterment of our meditation practice, because all these will come in at the time of meditation. Awareness allows freedom and peace of mind. So his aim, or he is telling us that our aim is to keep our mind focused, one pointed, without distractions, intact with the inner peace and calm. When that can happen, when you're working on these mental attitudes or the emotional culturing. The next one, towards those who are virtuous or benevolent, successful, we should not feel jealous or inadequate at that time. We all want to be useful, to be of service to our families, friends, and other people, whether in our local community or across the world. Often we privately may feel that there is more we could do, but that we are just not doing it. We feel always that there is even more scope I can do, but somehow my energies are stuck somewhere and I am not able to do it. Jealousy and other negative emotions can easily creep in when somebody else is sincerely acting in virtuous or benevolent ways. They are achieving success after success. We can unconsciously push against such people, whether we know them or they are publicly known people. For anyone, unknown or known, we might feel that, that I am not that successful, or I am inadequate, or I am somewhere trapped with my own limitations. That's fine, we can work on it. But at that moment, when if you're feeling so, replace that thought instantly by feeling happy or having goodwill towards these people. Better that we cultivate attitudes of happiness and goodwill towards such people. It is not always easy to cultivate such positive attitudes when inside we are feeling negative. But something very interesting happens as we become neutral, non attached witness to our inner process. Even to those negative thoughts, we get attached. And then it's very hard to even replace that thought with something positive when we are actually feeling negative or stressful. Then the happiness and goodwill seems to come naturally. So give some time at that moment, be indifferent to your own negative thoughts and let that positive thought come in naturally. Okay? And the last one, towards those who we see as bad or wicked. We always, get some people in our lives that we feel not get good energies or vibes from these people. Again, we get locked. Our energies drop only being company with such people. Anger, aversion, such kind of negative thoughts we might have. Most of us have some limits of what we find as acceptable behavior. We might sincerely hold the belief that all people are pure at their deepest level. Yet, are there not some individuals you think to be dishonest, mean, or even wicked? Are there not some behaviors that you consider so outside of acceptable conduct that it strongly causes you to feel angry and frustrated? Yes, it happens many a times. Even if you really feel strongly about some other people in this way, it is not also true that you yourself carry the burden of this. So, how to free from that is the question. Because when these people see that you're suffering, you're getting angry, you're feeling, stressed, they get joy out of it and they continue their behavior, and you keep getting angry or suffering. Then become aware. What kind of attitude we should develop at that time? Neutrality, acceptance, indifference. The antidote is to cultivate an attitude of neutrality, indifference, acceptance, or equanimity. Don't react. Don't suffer. Don't avoid even these people, but stay neutral. It can be difficult to cultivate this attitude since it might make us think we are approving of their bad behavior. We seek the neutrality of inner balance and equanimity, which does not mean approving of the person's actions or behaviors. In fact, cultivating attitudes of neutrality might go a long way in being able to cause change. As the person sees that now that she is not anymore getting irritated with this, eventually he will stop at some point. It surely helps to stabilize, clear the mind for meditation. Why we are doing this? Only to keep our mind focused in our meditation. But even if we are not meditating, this is going to help us to keep our mental health, isn't it? So these four locks and four keys, I think, are the most important as we interact with the other people, and what type of mental attitudes we should keep when we are meeting different kinds of people. So let's practice this sutra one more time. Maitri karuna muditopekshanam. Maitri karuna muditopekshanam. Sukha dukkha punya punya vishayanam. Sukha dukkha punya punya vishayanam. Bhavanat chitta prasadanam. Bhavanat chitta prasadanam. All right. Okay. So first category of methods or techniques he has given at the level of mental and emotional category. Okay. The next is at the pranic level, because the human being exists at different levels. So the first one was the mental and emotional attitudes. Now he says, okay, you can try this as well. Prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. What can be done? Now you can control your breathing. Prachardana means exhale, expulsion. Vidharana is the retention, kumbhaka, holding of your breath. by these two. Abhyam. Va means or. Now, Maitri Karuna Mudita is one thing. Or you can try pranasya of the breath. Or that calm is retained by the controlled exhalation or retention of the breath. In pranayama, there are four categories, right? The inhalation part, internal retention, exhalation, and external retention. These are the four parts. Out of these four parts, what part of breathing here Patanjali is emphasizing? Not inhalation, not internal retention, but exhalation and external retention. You exhale and hold your breath for a few moments as far as you can do it. We can all try it together. Close your eyes and just exhale with the force. Hold your breath. As long as you are comfortable. And then gradually, at any point when you feel, slowly inhale. You know, this type of practice we can always try if you're feeling dull, lazy, distracted, stressed, angry, frustrated, whatever thing, we are going through. Exhale and hold your breath. So inhalation, exhalation will go on throughout our life. But what is the different thing we are doing in the pranayama is the retention. When we practice Kapalabhati regularly, what is the end result of Kapalabhati? Is Kevala Kumbhaka, the automatic suspension of your breath, where even consciously you're not retaining it either in or out, but breath just suspends on its own naturally. That is the beauty of the practice. Kevala Kumbhaka is the target or the goal of whole of pranayama, where breathing is suspended. No inhalation, no exhalation. And in that spur of moment, if you observe the state of your mind, it has to be calm and focused. It cannot think, it cannot be active. Distraction is not possible. Because as you suspend the breath, you suspend the mind. And automatically you land in the state of meditation. That is the beauty of pranayama. So the second method or technique what Patanjali prescribing us, he's a doctor. He's prescribing all the methods. Hey, then focus on your breath. Do the exhalation and hold your breath out. प्रच्छर्दनविधारणाभ्यां वा प्राणस्य प्रच्छर्दनविधारणाभ्यां वा प्राणस्य. Then he's giving the one more method. Vishayavati va pravrutirutpanna manasasthiti nibandhini. What he's saying? Vishayavati, having object of sense perception. We are having 5 sense organs. So you can have any one object of that sense perception. Sound, touch, form, taste, odor. Pravritti, refined activity, subtle sense perception. For example, if I select nose as my sense organ And the object of that sense organ is the rose or the flower. What is that subtle sense perception? By meditating on the flower, okay, or the smell of a flower, smell, rose is a gross object, smell is the subtle sense perception. And on that smell, you can meditate. And with that practice, this is a very advanced practice. With this, if you are selecting this method and practicing throughout regularly for long term, so even in absence of that flower or smell, that the subtle form of smell, you will start getting it, and on that smell you keep on focusing. Utpanna, generate, that smell can generate manasaha, of the mind, and sthiti, steadiness, nibandhini, bind or fix upon. So your mind or the steadiness of the mind can be fixed upon that subtle sense perception, or the concentration on subtle sense perception can cause steadiness of mind. When we visit the temple, we look at the form of the deity, the devata. Correct. But when at the time of meditation, the deity is not present in front of your eyes, but automatically that rupa, that form is coming in front of your closed eyes. That subtle sense perception, on that you're meditating. Vishayavati va pravritirutpanna. Vishayavati va pravrittirutpanna. Manasasthiti nibandhini. Manasasthiti nibandhini. Here Visarga, Manasaha, is getting followed with the sa sound, Sthiti. So the Visarga sound will remain, will change from her to sa. Manasas Sthiti Nibandhini. Vishayavati va pravritirutpanna manasas sthiti nibandhini. So that is the next method. He goes on giving us different methods. Then the next one, and they are becoming more and more and more and advanced. Vishokava Jyotishmati. Vishokava Jyotishmati. What he is telling us? Or, va means or. By concentrating on the supreme, ever blissful light within. Vishoka here is the Vishoka is the sorrow, suffering. Vishoka is the sorrowless, blissful. Jyotishmati, the internal supreme light. At the beginning of meditation, you have to pretend or you have to imagine that light. Okay? Either at the center of your eyebrows, the midbrain, the Ajna chakra, or at the center of the heart. We have to visualize that light. But with the constant practice and with, if you are blessed enough, with the grace of Guru, the progress will be faster. In the spiritual sadhana, with my own experience, I'm telling you, if you get a right Guru in your life, I think you should consider yourself with the most luckiest and the blessed soul. If you are meditating for 20 years and nothing much progress has been done or experienced so far. That's what you feel. And at some point in your life, if you encounter with a right guru for you, within no time, you will progress. Within no time. Even, you feel that I'm not yet ready, but still the progress is happening for you just by the grace of Guru. So I will highly emphasize here, keep practicing and keep looking or waiting for that right time for that guru to enter your life. That is the most important part in the spiritual practice. So this is the next method, Vishokava Jyotishmati. You never know, at some point that light will be reflected within and you start meditating on that light. Jyotishmati. This is again very powerful sutra, very powerful method and technique. Vitaraga vishayam va chittam. Vita, what is free from what? Raga, that is the attachment. Attachment, free attachment from what? The object of senses. You need to meditate on such personality or such saint or guru or whatever that person, if you look up to him and if he has achieved that state, or by concentrating on a great soul's mind who is totally freed from attachment to sense objects. That has to be a realized soul or a great soul or a great personality. If you know someone in your, life that, yeah, I feel this is the person, meditate on his soul, his mind, because his mind is free of attachments. And see, why the object of meditation should be so meaningful and of highest respect, because after some time, the qualities of the object of meditation will come within us. So we need to be very careful in selection of the object. So if you are selecting such personality, definitely his qualities will reflect in me. That one should understand. Vitaraga vishayam va chittam. Vitaraga vishayam va chittam. This is the next one. Then, again, this is the beautiful method. Swapna nidra jnanalambanam va. Swapna nidra jnana alambanam va. On what we can meditate, or by concentrating on an experience had during dream or deep sleep. Have we ever thought about it? What all beautiful techniques Patanjali is giving us. Swapna is the dream. Nidra is the sushupti or deep sleep state. Jnana, becoming acquainted. Alambanam, to hold attention. So we are meditating, we are holding our attention on what? The jnana, the knowledge we got from the deep sleep or from the dream. So if in your dream, if you see the face of a saint or a rishi or a deity, on that you can meditate. Or when we come out of deep sleep state, when we come to the wakeful state, we feel how fresh and calm and peaceful I am feeling. Because that knowledge you got from that deep sleep, that peace, prashanta state, calm state. Once we come back to the wakeful state, we imagine, what not our mind gets entangled into hundreds and thousands of activities and thoughts and distractions. But then, when you remember the experience, the knowledge of that deep sleep, that calm state of mind, meditate on it. Patanjali is saying, even on that experience, we can meditate. In your dream, if you get some experience, beautiful, blissful experience, meditate on it. स्वप्ननिद्राज्ञानालम्बनं वा स्वप्ननिद्राज्ञानालम्बनं va. This is the again one more method he is giving us. And finally he says yathabhimatadhyanadva yathabhimatadhyanadva. If he says that, okay, nothing is working for you, nothing you feel that it's right for me or you like it, yatha, as, in which manner, abhimata, per choice or desire, dhyanat, from meditating, or by meditating on anything one chooses that is elevating. He says, okay, whatever I'm prescribing, you don't feel it's good for you, right for you, you don't like it, you hate it, whatever is the reason, you select your own object of meditation, but see to it, it is elevating. It's going to help your consciousness to uplift. It has the deep meaning. You respect that object of meditation. You can meditate on moon, you can meditate on rising sun, setting sun, whatever it is. You feel that you connect with it. You feel it is the most meaningful. You idealize it. Select whatever you feel is elevating for yourself and not degrading for yourself. That object of meditation is to be selected. So from verse 33 to 39, Patanjali has given us so many options. So somewhere our practice should start. All right. Now from here, from 140 to 145, first we'll finish this 1.40. Paramanu param mahatvantosya vashikaraha. Paramanu param mahatvantosya vashikaraha. So Patanjali says, when you start this practice of meditation on the right object, what happens? Paramanu, primal atom or the atom of the atoms. Parama anu, atom of the atoms. Parama, that is the greatest, paramanu. Mahatva, that is the magnitude. Anantah, anto, that is the end or the extension. Asya, his or her, means whoever, the meditator. Vashikaraha, he or she gains the mastery to that extent that he can meditate on the minutest anu, the atom, or the greatest magnitude, whatever you think, which exists in the universe. Gradually, one's mastery in concentration extends from the primal atom to the greatest magnitude. So, with this practice, you can instantly focus your mind even on the tip of the flame of the candle, or the whatever you can think about, the great planet or the universe, the Brahmanda. From atom to the greatest magnitude. Then the object of meditation doesn't matter. You can focus on any of this range, from primal atom to the greatest magnitude. That is the capacity of our mind has become. Vashikaraha, the mastery, the control of the mind becomes like that. Just by reading these sutras, trying to understand its meaning, how uplifting, how elevating the experience is. So just imagine when we actually start practicing, start getting experiences, progress in our sadhana, how uplifting it will be. And then from this sutra, from 41 to 45, he immediately starts explaining about the different states of samadhi. It might become little difficult to understand these sutras, but we will keep it very simple for ourselves. So this sutra says, Kshina vritterabhijatasyev मणेर्ग्रहितृ ग्रहणग्राह्येषु तत्स्थदज्जन्नता समापत्तिः. Samapatti. See, this samapatti is the word for samadhi. Okay? Kshina. So what happens if your mind is capable of now concentrating from primal atom to the greatest magnitude? Definitely, what is the reason or why it has become so? Because all the mental modifications, chitta vrittis, have become kshina, weak. Right now, where we are trapped in chitta vrittis, mental modifications, because they only are so strong and intense, they are not letting our mind to focus on anything. We are just, jumping from one object to the next to next. But when with the practice of meditation, the first thing happens is kshina vritte. Wow, even by reading this, we feel amazing that all my chitta vrittis have become kshina, weak. Abhijatasya, of natural pureness, of flawless, even like as manehe. So when the chitta vrittis become weak, how the mind becomes like a pure crystal, like a mirror. Grahitru grahana grahyeshu. Knower is the grahitru, grahana is the knowledge, grahyeshu is the knowledgeable. Okay? Tad, by that, tadastha, tadanjanata, similar being on, assuming the color of any near object. Now, for example, if there is a, if you have seen a crystal and you have kept it on a table and there is some other colorful object which is just beside it, that crystal will take up the color of that object. Correct? Or in mirror, when we look at it, mirror is mirror. It is not giving any color or any reflection. When anything comes in front, it gives a reflection of that particular object. Samapatti become, so here Samadhi and Samapatti, there is a slight, very subtle difference. Samapatti means you become similar to. Samadhi is also means that. But Samapatti is a one stage before it, where your mind start taking the form of that object. Now, for example, if you are meditating on the symbol of Om, because of the weak chitta vritti, kshina chitta vritti, your mind has become like a pure crystal, and that object of meditation has started reflecting in your mind. So if you are meditating on Om, maybe its meaning or its sound or its vibration, whatever it is, in any form, it starts reflecting within, in your mind. So just as the naturally pure crystal assumes the shapes and colors of objects placed near it, so the yogi's mind, with its totally weakened modifications, become clear and balanced and attains the state devoid of differentiation between knower, knowable, and the knowledge. The culmination of meditation is samadhi or samapatti. So what happens is, because it has become crystal clear, the mind has become crystal clear, now there is no differentiation. See, in the meditation, there are three things. The object of meditation, because all these sutras, we are talking about what? Selection of the object of meditation, correct? Gruhitru, grahana is the object of meditation. Grahyeshu, in knowledge, and grihitru. So the object of meditation, the meditator, and the process of meditation. These are the three things present in the process of meditation. Grihitru, grahana, and grahyeshu. So if you don't want to remember these, Sanskrit words, doesn't matter. What you have to remember is the knower, that is the meditator, the object of meditation, and the process of meditation. These three things. In that state of samapatti, it's the devoid of differentiation between these three. Because that entire thing has now reflected in your mind, because your mind, you are able to make it crystal clear. Samapatti, that mind becomes similar to the entire process. That is the knower, the knowledge, the object of knowledge, everything becomes one. There is no differentiation between the knower, knowledge, and the knowable. So let's practice this sutra one more time. Kshinavritterabhijatasyev manirgrahitrugrahangrahyeshu tadasthadajannata samapattihi tat sthata danjanata. क्षीणवृत्तेरभिजातस्येव मणिरग्रहितृग्रहणग्राह्येषु पितृग्रहणग्राह्येषु तत्स्थत दञ्जनता समापत्तिः. All right. And then in this sutra he explains तत्र शब्दार्थज्ञानविकल्पैः संकीर्णा सवितर्का समापत्तिः. Tatra, there, shabd, sound or word, name, artha is the meaning, object, form, jnana is the knowledge, idea, vikalpaihi, assumptions, concept. These three, what we have seen, like the shabda, artha and jnana. Sankirna, they are mixed up. Savitarka, with deliberation. The samadhi in which the name, the form and the knowledge of them is mixed is called savitarka samadhi or samadhi with deliberation. So we have also seen at the very beginning of these sutras, the types of samadhis. Savitarka, Sasmita, Sa Ananda, right? So it starts with Savitarka Samadhi. Now your mind has become crystal clear. Everything is started reflecting in your mind. But now it is now landing into the state of Savitarka Samadhi where the Shabda, for example, the Om, the Shabda, the sound Om, its meaning, the Artha, and its knowledge, the Jnana, all three are mixed up in Savitarka Samadhi. That state where the Shabda, Artha, Jnana, Sankirna, they are mixed up. We are meditating on the Om, the sound Om, the Artha, the meaning of Om, and the knowledge of Om, everything right now mixed up into that state of Samadhi is called as, because here Vitarka is what is reasoning, you're thinking about it, what kind of sound it is, what is the meaning of this sound, what knowledge I am seeking out of this form and sound, all these, the logic, the thinking, all these vitarkas. It is sa means with logic, with thinking. You land on this state, that all three are mixed up in this state of samapatti, savitarka. तत्र शब्दार्थज्ञानविकल्पैः सङ्कीर्णा सवितर्का समापत्तिः. तत्र शब्दार्थज्ञानविकल्पैः सङ्कीर्णा सवितर्का समापत्तिः. Then comes nirvitarka samadhi. Smriti parishuddhau swarupa shunyevarthamatra nirbhasa nirvitarka. Here plays the important thing is the memory. Smriti. Parishuddhau. Upon utmost purification. In the first category of samapatti, what was purified? The chitta. It has become like a crystal clear because of weak mental modifications. At the next state of samadhi, the nirvitarka samadhi, where the purification is happening in the memory. Swarupa, its own nature, own form, shunya, empty. Artha, object, matra, only, nirbhasa, shining, nirvitarka, without deliberation. So when the memory is well purified, the knowledge of the object of concentration shines alone, devoid of the distinction of name and quality. This is nirvitarka samadhi, or samadhi without deliberation. You know what happens? If we start some practice, because of our memory, because we have learned so many things so far, we have gone through so many experiences, we have read so many books, we have heard so many lectures from different scholars, because of all this conditioning of our mind and the entire chitta, lot of questions, doubts, logic, reasoning from our own side, from our own side, we keep on putting. And because of our memory, so many things which we have learned earlier or in the past will keep coming in between of the practice. So to reach the stage of nirvitarka, where now we are not having any thinking, any logical thinking or rational thinking, which is coming out of my past learning, not only in this life, but from all the lives we have gone through. And we have gained and, gathered so many experiences so far on this journey, will start coming in, and we will keep questioning, we'll keep thinking. But what is important here, we have to unlearn everything, whatever we have read, whatever Upanishads are telling us, whatever any sutra is telling us, unlearn. And that is the most difficult part. Because here we are only having faith in the practice. And again, I'm telling you, if you're having Guru, he will guide you. And then again, without questions, without doubt, without any preconceived notions, you have to believe in the words of Guru and continue your sadhana to reach the state of nirvitarka. It's not easy. But if your mind is pure, if your memory is getting purified, if you are unlearning things quickly, then you will not question. Then you will not have any doubts. And then the state of nirvitarka will come. Because all questions and doubts will come from your memory itself. So here the next stage, first stage you have worked on mental modification, on chitta shuddhi. The next stage you are working on your memory. All right? Let's practice this sutra. स्मृति परिशुद्धौ स्वरूप शून्ये वार्थमात्र निर्भासा निर्वितर्का. Swarupa Shunya, when that's own nature has become Shunya. Now there is nothing left, only that object, Artha Matra Nirbhasa, it is only shining, only that object of meditation shining and nothing else. No thinking, no reasoning, no logic, no questions, nothing. Only that object of meditation is shining forth. Mind is not thinking. Mind is not questioning. Nirbhasa, that shining. Arthamatra, that is nirvitarka. That is nirvitarka samadhi. And then the next two stages of samadhi, the savichara and nirvichara. एतयैव सविचारा निर्विचारा च Sukshma Vishaya Vyakhyata Etaya. In the same way, Iva, indeed, Savichara, reflective, Nirvichara, super non-reflective, Cha, and Sukshma, the subtle, Vishaya, objects, Vyakhyata, that are explained. In the same way, both the Savichara, reflective, and Nirvichara, super or non-reflective Samadhi, which are practiced upon subtle objects, are explained. More and more subtle becomes the search. As we have seen, only now that object of meditation is shining forth, now I am taking that object to its subtlest form, subtlest category ever we can take it. Now this Om, now I am not thinking about its artha, jnana, why it is in this shape, why there is a dot, why there is a crescent, what are these waking, sleep or dream state. I am not thinking about anything. But the Sukshma Vishaya, now when you go beyond the Nirvitarka Samadhi, there comes the Savichara first. So now the Vichara, the Savichara of what? The subtlest object, the Sukshma Vishaya. So if you take that object to the subtle, to the subtle, to the subtle, to the subtle, subtlest category, what happens? That makes your consciousness more and more and more stronger. So this is exactly the process of evolution and the process of involution. Here in the most manifested form, in this body, in this mind, with this intellect, with these senses, which is the most evolved, manifested form, I am meditating. And what I am trying to do is to go to the object's most subtlest form. That is the beauty of the practice. I am the most manifested version of the Prakriti in this gross body, mind, intellect, and whatnot. And now I'm taking my consciousness, my awareness to that object's most subtlest. So start going back inward, the process of involution to its most subtlest form of object I am trying to reach. That is savichara and nirvichara. Okay, so now I am reflecting on that the subtlest nature of the object, savichara, and even that has gone to super non-reflective state, nirvichara. Now even I have not even thinking about that subtlest nature of the object. Savichara, nirvichara state of samadhi. And then comes Sukshma Vishayatvam Chalinga Paryavasanam. Chalinga Paryavasanam. Sukshma subtle, Vishayatva, objectiveness, cha, and alinga, without a mark, undefinable, unmanifest Prakriti. That is the Paryavasanam, end only at, all the way up to the unmanifested Prakriti. The subtlety of possible objects of concentration ends only at the undefinable, where it has not got any form. Nirakara. So the mind has the power to go to the very root of the unmanifested nature. Linga Paryavasanam. But it is not linga, that is the form, but it is a linga, that is without any form, without any mark, undefinable. Because the reality is without form, isn't it? Nirakara, nirguna. Because we are manifested, we need some form and name and something to hold upon. But as we progress in the state of samadhi, we go from the most manifested version to the unmanifested form. That is the true nature of the reality. A linga paryavasanam. So that is the power. You know, in uh, the subject of Devi or Namma, Mahatripura Sundari, she's a goddess, basically. She's a goddess. And she has the yantra which is called as Shri Yantra. And in that yantra, there are so many squares and petals and triangles. But at the very center of that yantra, there is a bindu. Even there is a bindu, there is a form, because we need something to hold on. So as we go to the subtle, like, from the squares, from the petals, from the triangles to the bindu, you have reached nirvichara. But now even that form has gone. If you think about energy, the Shakti, we cannot see that energy, isn't it? It is Nirakara. So it has taken a form of a bindu, then some yantra, then some mantra, then some tantra, whatnot, just to understand for human beings that, initially you hold upon some object and then slowly you go to its subtlest form, and at some point you even have to give up on the entire form of that object where it is becoming a linga. No form, no name, no nothing. In that state, now your awareness has reached. So here we are going to end today's session. Sorry, we have gone a little ahead of our time. So after the Sukshma Vishaya, that is the subtlety of the object, what we are moving ahead into the complete unmanifested nature. That is the Alinga state. All right. So do you have any questions so far, whatever we have discussed in all these sutras? Else we will practice all the sutras one more time. Okay. So let's chant each sutra twice. दुःखदौर्मनस्याङ्गमे जयत्वश्वासप्रश्वासा विक्षेपसः भुवः दुःखदौर्मनस्याङ्गमे जयत्वश्वासप्रश्वासा विक्षेपसः भुवः तत्प्रतिषेधार्थमेकत्तत्त्वाभ्यासः तत्प्रतिषेधार्थमेकत्तत्त्वाभ्यासः. So we have seen all the distractions. In order to avoid all these distractions, we have to now start the practice of one principle, focusing on one principle. Then he is giving various objects of meditation. Maitri karuna muditopekshanam sukha dukkha punya punya vishayanam bhavana chitta prasadanam. Maitri karuna muditopekshanam sukha dukkha punya punya vishayanam bhavana chitta prasadanam. Next is about breathing. Prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. Prachardana vidharanabhyam va pranasya. Then subtle sense perceptions, on that you can fix your mind. Vishayavati va pravrittirutpanna manasasthiti nibandhini. Vishayavati va pravrittirutpanna manasasthiti nibandhini. On the light within, the supreme blissful light within. Vishokava jyotishmati. Vishokava jyotishmati. Vitaraga vishayam vachittam. Vitaraga vishayam vachittam. On the soul or the mind of that realized saint or a person whose mind is free from all attachments. Swapna nidra jnanalambanam va. Swapna nidra jnanalambanam va. On the experience of deep sleep or dream. Yathabhimatadhyanadva. Yathabhimatadhyanadva. Or as per your choice. Then what happens? Paramanu paramamahatvantosya vashikaraha. Paramanu paramamahatvantosya vashikaraha. Your mind has now gained complete mastery. क्षीणवृत्तेरभिजातस्येव मणेर्ग्रहितृग्रहणग्राह्येषु तत्स्थतदजनन्ता समापत्तिः. क्षीणवृत्तेरभिजातस्येव मणेर्ग्रहितृग्रहणग्राह्येषु तत्स्थतदजननता समापत्तिः. तत्र शब्दार्थज्ञानविकल्पैः सङ्कीर्णा सवितर्का समापत्तिः. So now he is giving all the stages of Samadhi, right from Savitarka to Nirvichara Samadhi. Tatra Shabdarthajnana-vikalpai sankirna savitarka samapattihi. Smruti parishuddhau swarupa shunye varthamatra nirbhasa nirvitarka. Smruti parishuddhau swarupa shunye varthamatra nirbhasa nirvitarka. The purity of the memory. And then two types, savichara, nirvichara. एतयैव सविचारा निर्विचारा च सूक्ष्मविषया व्याख्याता एतयैव सविचारा निर्विचारा च सूक्ष्मविषया व्याख्याता. And then the most unmanifested form of the object, which is the principle, the absolute Brahman, the reality exists in the alinga form, nirakara form. Sukshma vishayatvam chalinga paryavasanam. Sukshma vishayatvam chalinga paryavasanam. So to that state of consciousness, now Patanjali has, taken us on this journey of unmanifested state of nature. Here we'll stop with the Shanti mantra. So close your eyes, adopt Chin Mudra. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. So thank you everyone for joining in, and we will again meet on 10th of May, Saturday, 10th of May.
Thank you so much, Kate K.